With such a diverse range of games, the Nintendo Switch truly has something for everyone. But with so much choice, it's often hard to decide which titles to opt for, which is where Switch Player comes in, because we're breaking down the best the console has to offer, genre by genre. In this episode, we're rounding up our favourite simulation games because starting a new virtual life rife with possibilities sounds pretty good right about now, so without further ado, let's kick off the list.
If you want a life simulator with a decidedly different angle, Gleaner Heights should do the trick. The game borrows the Harvest Moon Stardew Valley template and injects it with the unsettling atmosphere that made Twin Peaks such a cult favorite. For the most part, you'll keep up with the low-key hustle and bustle of farm life, complete with raising crops, taking care of animals, and fostering relationships with the townsfolk. Then, at night, you'll explore the dark underbelly of Gleaner Heights and really get to know its residents, who aren't as friendly or as cheerful as they may seem. Granted, the story doesn't go full Twin Peaks in terms of weirdness, but the content is remarkable, and while it's not as robust in terms of content as some of its like-minded contemporaries, Gleaner Heights is definitely recommended for those who want a little bit of mystery in between their harvests.
It's been almost 20 years since we first submitted ourselves to a lifetime of debt and servitude to our favourite capitalist raccoon. In this time, we've seen wild worlds, mixed with the city folk, and turned a new leaf, but Nintendo's phenomenally popular, record-breaking smash hit Animal Crossing New Horizons is the jewel in the crown for this long-running series, that manages to capture everything that made its predecessors so enjoyable, whilst introducing stunning new visuals, optimised multiplayer accessibility, bucket loads of community-influenced customization options, and a crafting system that feels so natural to the flow of the game, it's hard to remember Animal Crossing without it. In this outing, our friendly overlord Tom Nook sets us up with a new island getaway, isolated from the hustle and bustle of real life. A premise that could have been no more perfectly timed with the current state of world affairs if it tried. As usual, after that, what happens next is entirely up to you. Whether you focus on building up your island's infrastructure, working on your interior decorating skills, or keeping Blathers happy by completing your collection of bugs, fossils, and fish at the museum, New Horizons' polished, accessible, and utterly joyous delivery will ensure that every moment feels special. This is the definitive Animal Crossing experience, and perfect for fans of the series and newcomers alike.
As a fan of sports games, I was let down by EA's port of FIFA onto the Switch. Sports Interactive's Football Manager 2020, on the other hand, was a fine addition to my growing collection of football-related titles on the console. Football Manager on the Switch is a handy portable version of the full game, not requiring a powerful or expensive laptop to play on the go. If your hectic life doesn't allow for a 10-hour session to bring Dagenham and Redbridge from the depth of a National League to European glory, then the Simulate game feature will have you breezing through seasons faster than Adama Traore can run down a wing. Previous touch versions have lacked key features of the Football Manager experience, which for footballing geeks like me are all part of the fun. In the newest installment, however, Sports Interactive took Football Manager closer to its PC version, adding a dev center that allowed for an increased focus on the youth system, giving you the ability to nurture young players into superstars and prove you can indeed win anything with kids. Of course, all the classic features such as transfers and tactic adjustments still remain in the game, although I am waiting for press conferences to finally make that move over from the main game. Overall, with Sports Interactive carefully crafting a realistic and engaging football management simulator, it's hard to go wrong with Football Manager 2020 Touch, especially if you're craving that football experience in the absence of the Premier League.
While there is already plenty of great Dragon Quest content available on the Switch, special attention is still deserved for the quirky crafting title Dragon Quest Builders 2. Half RPG and half meticulous village sim with building mechanics, Dragon Quest Builders 2 is an endlessly charming chimera of a game that consistently gives you new things to make and new tools to make them with over its more than 100-hour playtime. Your adventure is a classic RPG story, but also something of a sequel to the original Dragon Quest II. Elements and characters from the Famicom title spill over, and the developers make great use of the aftermath of the events of that game. Using your special ability as a builder, you'll be helping to rebuild a world left in ruins. From basic farming, restoring pubs, escaping prison and reinforcing defences at a magic castle, Builders 2 never runs out of interesting ways to show off its great mechanics. But it also streamlines a whole lot of crafting mainstays in ways that other crafting games could take a leaf from. As you make your way through the game, you'll befriend different characters, creatures and animals that will eventually move back to your personal island, where you will get to create homes for them and manage the tasks you want your island inhabitants to help you complete. Before you know it, your island is a bustling little community where you're spending time tending to your crops, looking after your farm animals and finding even more creatures with different abilities that help you to build bigger and better. Throw in a load of fun bosses for you to fight, armor and battling abilities to unlock, and even a slew of discoverable Dragon Quest items to build or decorate with, and you've got a truly rich, rewarding RPG that just happens to be a fantastic little life sim and crafting game.
The F1 season is currently on hold, and whilst there is the virtual Grand Prix to try and tide us over, it doesn't quite fill the void left behind regarding the off-track action that contribute to the excitement and drama to the high-speed sport. Motorsport Manager is a surprisingly accessible sim, putting you in control of your own racing team, with the ability to choose from different motorsports. This is not an official video game tie-in, so none of your favourite teams or drivers are present, but given how good the presentation is, and the rewarding gameplay, this quickly becomes a non-issue. You care about all the intricate details that will benefit your team and help bring them to victory. Even driver squabbles are present here for you to deal with, as are options to do a little bit of questionable rule bending. With other sims of this type, most of the decisions are made off track, but that doesn't mean you will be sitting around twiddling your thumbs on race day. Whilst your previous decisions largely decide how good or bad your car and driver are, you can change the pit strategy as well as on-track decisions such as engine mode and driving style on the fly to adapt to the changing situation. Whilst other motorsport sims do exist on other platforms, Motorsport Manager for Nintendo Switch is the perfect fit, suiting both TV and handheld play.
We can't talk about the Switch's best life simulators without tipping a hat to My Time at Porsche. But then we can't talk about My Time at Porsche without admitting that it is a flawed game. Sure, the characters act strange, the mining can get dull, and the initial loading screens are downright monstrous. But the game got a complete makeover through an update less than 6 months after it launched on the Switch in April of 2019. The graphics went from grungy to sharp, characters finally got voice lines, and the loading screens became less bad. They're still pretty bad. The game itself is chock full of charm though. In this seemingly post-apocalyptic world, your custom-designed character inherits their dad's old workshop and works to become Porsche's top builder, fulfilling bigger and bigger commissions. You'll enter hazardous areas and fight monsters to get valuable loot. But it's pretty dangerous, so you can make food by farming and raising animals on your property. Along the way, you'll meet residents who each have unique backstories to unravel as you befriend them, or perhaps romance them. This game blows Harvest Moon and even Stardew Valley out of the water when it comes to marriage options. Overall, My Time at Porsche's adorable world and addicting gameplay make up for the surface level issues.
And that was Switch Player's recommendations of the best simulation games on the Switch. What are some of your favourites? Let us know in the comments below, and thanks for watching.